Participants. And then admit. There we go.
Thanks, man. Give everybody a little time to get here.
Mute it now. No, mute it though if you want.
I can't see that far.
Well,
Oh, like easy.
That's on far left, far left. Oop, yep.
just click the,
Oh,
just click the,
Just look at Oh, good one.
right.
All right, well, let's get the Emergency Services Facilities Building Committee meeting for 7:11. Started at, what time we got?
6:34.
6:34, and 7.
No,
I think first order, but well, let's see, roll call. So. It's here, but.
Sorry, I'll address that in a minute.
Okay, need a motion to seat James for Tom Snyder.
So moved. So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Right.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
If it pleases the chair, I'd like to, step back from my, voting position for the night until Williamsdale Fire Department can, provide a name for an appointment to fill my spot, since I feel like being first selectman now could potentially be a conflict, if not at least complicated.
or both.
Hence, at least, yep.
There a conflict for Ralph and Andy's to remain?
Did you?
No, I did, I had a lengthy conversation with, the, FOIA commission about when people crisscross different committees. And the key to avoiding that conflict is that if you have a quorum of, in this case, if you have a quorum of the Board of Selectmen in another meeting, they cannot act on anything that is the purview of the Board of. In other words, if there's something that is agreed upon here everyone, including all three selectmen, could vote on something to be sent to the Board of Selectmen, for example, and then it can be addressed in the Board of Selectmen's meeting in an open meeting. The key is that the people here act like they're just on this committee. They don't cross over and say, well, since we're all meeting for the Board of Selectmen next week, we'll just do this.
You can't, the three of you can't sit here and decide to buy a dump truck. It's not germane to this meeting.
Right, we also can't decide to accept the report from this committee as selectmen. We can decide to forward the report of this committee to the selectmen, pretending they're different human beings. Because that is within the purview of the business of this committee.
So there's no conflict then with.
There is no conflict with having a quorum. It's not an illegal meeting, and it is also not a, what do they call it, there's a term like an accidental meeting, an unintended meeting. It doesn't qualify as that either, because this body has a set of tasks or a purpose, and as long as you stay with the purpose of the body, then you don't create a conflict. The other thing they said is that the basis of the FOIA statutes is that town action happens in public. You know, that meetings can be attended or viewed by the public. So this also moves one step further away from a conflict because it's happening in public anyway. So you have essentially two steps back from, you stay out of the business of the other board and you're in public already. And that was from Russell Blair.
Now, did you make it clear to Russell that this committee was created by the Board of Selectmen?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. I did indeed.
All right, well, let's move forward then. All right, Mike, I'm gonna. Definitely not suited, so you're basically resigning from this committee, or?
I'm
As
just,
you've already-
I don't know, what's the right word for,
I don't know.
no, for,
Recusing.
recusing, thank you. I'm recusing myself for tonight until we can figure out a better solution.
All right, first item on the agenda is approval of minutes from, I got the wrong date again. November
13th.
11th,
No, 13. Yeah,
13th,
13.
thank you. I fix the date everywhere, but I always forget one.
That's okay.
Has everybody had a chance to go through that?
Make a motion to approve minutes from 13 November.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? I did send out a tentative meeting schedule for me for 2026.
Well, I think you're
Present to speak.
this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Yes, present to speak. There's no one really in the room. Don't see anyone with their hand raised. No, I guess not at this time, so we'll move on to meeting schedule. Anyone have any challenges, any problems with that schedule? That's a problem. I mean, it's gonna be the same one, 26, second, third, or section, fourth, Thursday.
Second, fourth.
I didn't even look at it. I've gotten almost every date wrong somehow, so didn't think it was worth me double checking.
The only conflict I saw was Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
Which is the same as this year's. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting schedule for 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, old business. Everyone should have gotten a copy of Chris's last draft report. Essentially, the final report, put the word draft off. So what they presented as a draft report is now in front of us. I think there's a lot of information in there. I think there's quite a bit that's probably well over the heads of the average resident. And what I'd like, well, yes and no, I mean, it all depends. I'd like this committee to kind of formulate our own executive summary of where we can go. Where we should go. Don't expect that to happen tonight, but I think we should discuss what options,
He joins us.
what we could do.
Nice to see you, Peter.
Peter, gentlemen, welcome to this. 3, 6, 5. Well, 1845. It's 42. Okay, Pete, just to bring you up to speed, Mike is recusing from tonight's meeting.
I might participate in discussion, but I'm not gonna vote on anything.
Yeah,
Understood.
so certainly his input is welcome, but
Of course.
now technically an ex officio member of the committee, so. Can't vote.
Thanks.
All right, we've gone past the minutes, we've gone past the meeting schedule for 2026. Now we're discussing Fitch's report, which is basically the same as the last draft report that we got, without the word draft on it. I think I sent everybody a copy.
Yep.
So. I'm open for input here. Should we do our own little summary?
Absolutely. Someone has some,
I think in plain language.
absolutely. Yes, just sum up what decisions need to be made. A layman's version. Yep, section by section. There's only really, in reality, 3 or 4 things that, you know, someone has to decide on in the end from an option perspective. It should be narrowed down and condensed so the layperson can understand exactly what they're looking at. Who's gonna think that is, you know.
Yeah, I think there's still residents that don't understand that we have 2 independent departments. I think that needs to be clear.
Absolutely. There are residents that have no idea that the fire departments are volunteer.
Right,
That too.
Absolutely. Right. So we can do some education. Oh. Summarize.
Perhaps a brief history of the evolution of the 2 departments.
Sure.
what? Like, to what end is the summary that you're talking about? Do you mean, is it gonna be a summary, like an introduction to the study, or do you mean it's gonna be a summarization of the committee's thoughts?
What we've learned, what our options are for going forward.
And I guess
Does it-
we're
will
looking
it-
for input on the undecided options.
Would it include the committee's recommendation? We're like, a lot about how we're supposed to be making recommendations.
But we weren't making any recommendations. Pending unless we went through the, lack of a better phrase, public hearing process, was my understanding. Is that accurate?
That's my sentiment.
We weren't gonna make any recommendations at these public meetings. We were gonna give them the
We're gonna
information
get-
and options and let people speak and see how they felt before we made any decisions. Or before we made any recommendations to whoever, the board of selectmen and the.
I think that was the general consensus was. Whether it was to report back to the Board of Selectmen or the people, either way, there was gonna be reporting out of this committee. Before, to get public input, to get feedback, before the final.
One of the things I think, unless does anybody have a copy of the actual RFP or the response contract, I should say?
The contract,
Well, one of the things I think we're missing is that, we haven't talked about is, I believe in that document, Steve is required to do a presentation to the public as
Yeah, I
well.
believe that is true.
So we have to make sure, number one, we hold his feet to the fire on that. And number 2, I don't know how beneficial it would be for him to do a page by page analysis of his report in a public setting. I'd much more rather have him do a summarization in lay terms of what he found and what the options are that we're facing, what townspeople are facing. And we can back that up with a document or a position paper as well. But, I think the onus is on him to do the initial presentation. On what he found.
I think to the concept of some sort of a summary, I think. Because of the varying levels of understanding in the community. Some high, some low, some about certain areas and other areas. I think it'd be very beneficial to the public if there was some sort of a summary wrap up. That maybe explains a couple of different things that were brought up, like very briefly how we got here, you know, just a few lines. Of how we got to here.
The statistics regarding times and call processing and. From point A to point B and, you know, in this fractal percentage, all that stuff is just gonna get lost on people.
Right, and even this report.
It's lost on us.
Even this report takes those of us who understand it some time to read and kind of grind out what's in it.
Yeah.
So I think for the layman, it's a disservice to some extent, unless we can provide some sort of a summary, a brief review of how we got here. You know, we discussed these issues, we brought in a contractor, we worked with the contractor. They produced these reports, they produced a data report full of GIS information, which is very granular. And basically means ABC.
And available for
And
public
then,
consumption.
and right, and here it is, if you wanna read it, absolutely, but it basically means ABC.
Yeah.
And then they produced a report with a couple of recommendations in it.
Mhm.
Which is boiled down to this summary.
Right.
Please read it. And then we're seeking feedback.
And these are the hard decisions that are gonna have to be made. You know, as an example, 1 firehouse, 2 firehouses, 3 firehouses.
Yeah.
Consolidate, don't consolidate, hire a administrator, those are things that are in there that the townspeople have to decide on at some point. And they just go over those,
I think the key thing for a lot of the public is simply response time. That's.
Yeah,
How long
everyone,
does it take and what's it gonna cost me in taxes?
everyone I've talked to. About throughout this whole process, these couple of years we've been doing this, has had the same, like maybe 3 questions. How is it set up now? Cause I don't know.
Mhm.
2. Will you come up with ideas to make it better? 3, what is it gonna cost? Like those are pretty much.
and
the
number 2 and 3 go together.
Yeah.
If you wanna
Right.
save a minute or 2, it's gonna cost this, if you want the way it
Right.
is, it's gonna cost this, if you wanna save
Yeah,
5 minutes, it's gonna cost this.
which is pointed out in the study, cause they essentially considered, although they produced response times, they also said. In the looking forward, there are no improvements made on the stations that aren't staffed, because you've already established what the time is.
Right.
To get from people's homes to the building,
Yeah.
get the trucks to the scene,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, in the end, there's really, I think, 4 or 5 hard decisions that are gonna have to be made. It's not, you know, there's not 24 things there, there's really 4 or 5,
Yeah, I would agree.
give or take. Yeah.
I like the idea of the public hearings to get the input. I'm always in favor of that. But I'm thinking that if we're gonna have a simplified version of it. The solicit input, that we don't need the consultant to do that. We can do that. This is what he found. These are our choices. I would rather, given how scarce he's been, which I'm a little disappointed about, to be honest. I thought we picked him because he tends to come here. Or Mansfield and other places, but I'd rather hold that one, we have one more appearance by him in town. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I think we've got
I think
at least
there's-
one place,
He's
yes.
required by contract to do a presentation to the town.
I would rather hold that in reserve, so to speak. And after we get the public input. We decide what we want to recommend to the town, which is our job. Then we bring him in and say, we're recommending this, and we want you with us when we make that presentation.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, you know, I go back and forth because we asked Tim for his professional opinion. We have to be careful how much we engineer out of that or into it.
But
And-
all the things that we're gonna be recommending are in his report, that he's
Right.
touched on it, so.
And he's been very loath to try to make a decision for us because his experience shows that every community has their own political capacity or will to do a certain range of solutions. And he feels what we pushed on him to get him down to two, basically. And he's kind of loath to go any deeper than going down to two,
I mean-
because he feels
Just
it's
a local-
outside of his
To
purview.
Peter's point, personally, I don't care if he comes and does a presentation at all. I'm just saying that in the contract, it's required that he does that. You wanna waive that? That's fine. I don't think the guy's gonna carry any weight with any citizen of the town of Wellington. I
Well,
don't
people
think-
may wanna ask him his methodology or understand how he did
Citizen-
it.
Or maybe the board, like different boards will be more.
Yes, the
open,
Board
like
of
that's what
Finance has
like
been
Board of
talking about
Finance,
having an expert.
whatever.
Yeah. That's a good point right there.
Yeah, they don't wanna hear from us, they wanna hear.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
it's-
not necessarily like public forum, but I feel like the board, like Board of
Maybe
Finance.
reserve a Board of Finance.
So what if we did a summary? Like we're talking, whatever we agree upon is or you agree upon is the summary. We get it all out to the public, say there's going to be a presentation on this date. The consultant will be there. Here's your time in between to digest the reports and our summary and come with your questions for the presentation, maybe.
I think, and well, should we consider a daytime and then
Visitor what?
consider a daytime and evening one too? In one day, do a 10, 11 o'clock and then do a 6 or 7 or something for people that, I wanna
Not bad, yeah.
try to target as many people as I possibly can.
That's not a bad
You
idea.
have second and third
Yeah,
shift.
great idea.
I don't.
Yeah.
Most of our voters are over the age of 60.
Really?
That vote.
That's bedtime for them.
That actually vote.
You might get more of the senior population during the day that have an interest.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
nighttime. But you're gonna have the guy fly out anyway, I mean, it's gonna. Look at the day of the-
Well, I think, I kind of agree that having Steve available when we go, if you're into the Board of Finance, CIP. Whatever other entity has the. Officials in town.
Yeah.
Cause they're the ones that are gonna have some deeper technical questions, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
That's another good point there too, is we're coming into the season where it's gonna get hard to interact with the other boards. Cause we're coming into budget season.
Yes.
Potentially school building committee season, we got all sorts of stuff going on, so we have already bumped ourselves accidentally, or for whatever reason, we've bumped ourselves back a couple cycles farther back than we wanted to be. We've already missed one entire budget season we hoped for last year,
right,
and we're late into this budget season to have anything to ask the town for now. So I think we should try to get. If we can get a slot, we wanna get it pretty early. Because once you hit like February and March, every night of the week is meetings,
intense, yes,
yeah,
as far as other boards,
right.
as far as the public, then.
Well, and some of us are on those other boards,
Well,
so we're at some of those other meetings.
So we would. Do a public presentation or just put the report out with our summary?
No, I think we should have public. A schedule, time and date. A
Public hearing.
Public informational, here, wherever you wanna call it.
Right, but the question is, do we get our summary and the report out ahead so people can look at
Yeah, that's
it
what.
and come with questions?
Throw it on the website, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, make the meeting more productive. For the people that really have an issue.
Some people will read it and ask questions.
Yeah, so can you make this final draft available to the public now? Final draft,
Or do you wanna wait to
do you
include the
want to make
final?
it,
That's why I was talking about our own. Executive summary, for lack of a better term. That
With the final draft?
with the final version of Steve's report.
I think to avoid any type of. Issues, you should release the report as it's written, and then we can, along with that, you say, these are the findings of the committee that's been working on this, and that's the down and dirty summary, but. That way, then no one can ever say, oh, I never saw the report, you guys are hiding it.
no, it should be out there, and you wanna read it, here it is.
Absolutely. Put it on the website. Yep, and then here's, attached to that is also going to be the summary by the committee itself.
Yeah, if this committee feels. That we're ready for that first step of releasing the two, really, it's the data report, right, the GIS data report, and then this other report. Then. If this group. I don't know if this group would have to recommend it back to the Board of Selectmen, or it could just, I don't remember how that's set up.
I think you have to, I think this committee has to recommend the board of selectmen call a public hearing or
Well-
it's not a town meeting, it's an informational.
Well, if you're just releasing it out to the public. I don't know if we'd have to ask the Board of Selectmen to release it to the public, or if we could.
It's already a public document, it's already FOI-able.
Well, right.
So
Right, but you
we don't
sometimes,
need approval to.
yeah, I mean, the charge. The charge really was to recommend things to the Board of Selectmen. I'd rather get it out sooner anyway.
But I think,
Before you
I
close the
think we
meeting,
need,
make a motion to recommend the board of selectmen be released.
I think we need the information to be available to the public for input to this committee, reports to the board of selectmen. I think this committee needs public input. To finish and to get all our ducks in a row before we go to the board of selectmen, and preferably before we start the real ball rolling with all the other boards.
Yeah, it's two ways to slice that. You either try to get as much as possible to report to the Board of Selectmen, or you say, here's where we are. Is it okay for us to start engaging the public? I don't remember how the charge is written. Maybe it says engage the public.
I think both the document, this one, the study itself, and then the document we're gonna produce from a summary perspective. Always be distributed hand in hand together. So there's no. A person could read that, and then 2 weeks later, our summary comes out, and they don't read that part. I think they should go together. So that summary, I think, has to go along.
Alright, that contradicts what we were saying a minute ago.
Does-
I
I think
think it's a good
I
idea.
think it's gotta go together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of information there that, okay, that's great. What do they wanna do?
Why are they even talking about this? Why exactly?
Right, so you're gonna take that, then you're gonna have the summary that the committee's producing. This is our options. It's
Yeah.
a boiled down points, so everyone can understand.
So can this committee have our summary to the Board of Selectmen for the January? What is it, January 2nd or something is the next? Cause you're not gonna have it for next Monday, for the next Board of Selectmen's meeting.
No,
So when
no,
is,
we don't meet again until January 8th.
So.
oh, January 8th.
If you have to produce someone, whoever's drafting it, produce the summary, get it out via email to everybody. So they can get their eyes on it and fingerprints if needed for changes or modifications, and then.
It's awfully fast for us.
Huh? So the board of selectmen went, the eighth?
I'm just asking, can it be ready for the
meeting
meeting?
is the
Yes,
January.
meeting's the eighth.
Ours here?
Yes,
And the board of selectmen's meetings when?
What's the first Monday in January?
The fifth,
probably be that, yeah, 2 days, 3 days before this meeting.
yeah.
Okay, so then if this next meeting could finalize it. And send it to the Board of Selectmen, it could be.
Was
The
it
Board of Selectmen could then at the meeting on the
19th, it would be, I think.
would then, the 19th, whatever it is, right, would then. Release it.
February, you're another month, you're that.
Then we're really sneaking into budget season, hardcore budget season.
Yeah, because we're doing presentations by, your second week of February?
So perhaps this board could recommend to the Board of Selectmen, whoever they are. That they add it to the agenda on Monday night to discuss the release and get permission to release it.
What if we do a special meeting of this committee? Prior to the 8th,
Sure.
Yeah, because
Good idea.
to do that,
Prior to the 5th, prior to the 5th,
before the 5th, yeah,
before the Selectmen's meeting on the 5th.
It's only another month.
right,
unless you wanna do one between this meeting and Christmas. I don't know,
As long as we have something to, I'm open anything, as long as we have something to look at, figure out who's gonna draft this summary. And get it out for everyone's eyes to have their input.
well, I got a feeling I know who that's gonna be.
No. I'm gonna make. Oh,
But I want the whole committee's input.
yeah, I'm happy to edit it.
yeah, I'm trying,
I'll have lots of input. if
I'm
you-
sure you
if
will.
If you do the writing, yeah.
Remember, Rob, that was shorter, not longer.
right? Brevity, son, brevity.
I'll work on that.
I know.
Do you feel like it would be helpful?
Well, that's why I want everybody to critique it too.
Yeah, do you feel like it would be helpful now to talk about like? Things that we should address in it, or do you feel like you have a good handle on that?
A rough outline of what
Yes,
that's gonna contain? Okay.
not to be too high school English class, but
It's about the 2 fire departments.
Oh, they look pretty good, Ralph, what you got there, but.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, there are people in town who honestly don't know the first thing about it, don't even know we have a committee.
Right, like I think it's just, it's not just a summary of that, it's also like an introduction to it, right? So you're introducing why the committee exists in the first place, that, and then like a few lines about the fire departments and their current.
We had actually had a
configuration,
patient
right?
last week say, how do you like the new firehouse? Like, we don't have a new firehouse. The camera is awesome. Yeah.
So.
It's got ice cold water.
Yeah. It freezes under 20 degrees. It's sweet. And there's wildlife living in it.
There's a squirrel somewhere, that's awesome, the staff is loving that.
They have a snuggle buddy, squirrel.
Yeah, so, so like half a page of sort of that very brief history, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe like the next half of the page is just a quick overview of what the committee's done. Key bullet points, whatever.
Yeah, the reason for the commission of the consultant, what his
Right.
basic charge was.
And then maybe page 2 is sort of this committee's executive summary of the study. Maybe you can do it on 2 pages, which is about the most anyone's gonna read.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Except for the 4 people who are gonna read the entire report front to back.
Okay.
Then you can drill down into the recommendations that we and the townspeople have to make some decisions on. And again, I think there's only.
And he touches
4 or 5
on that
things.
in that, like in the thing where he has the sort of Venn diagram with the 2 circles overlapping.
Yeah, you can actually.
He's touched on a lot of that.
Plagiarize that.
Right, I think we can just sort of steal the key points from that.
Yep.
Okay, so that, yeah, our summary would
Yeah,
basically list the decisions that this committee.
yeah, his
is going to
summary,
make in their recommendations.
his summary material is pretty close.
Yeah.
It's just a little too technical maybe for the average Joe who wouldn't know the terminology and understand kind of the inner workings. It just needs to be a little more generally understandable.
I'll take a stab at it. And I'll get it out as soon as I can, and then we can settle on a special meeting date if necessary to finalize it. I'd like to do it before Christmas.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
And with all due respect to the acting chairman tonight, I know that you and a lot of us prefer in-person meetings, but around the holidays, we might have to consider hybrid or even just a video meeting, or if it's approving the
Of this,
summary, just because it's harder to get people in one room around the holidays.
that's fine.
And we all have to endeavor to actually read what Ralph
Right.
mentions.
Yeah,
Mm,
sure.
oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
So we're not, at our for a little special meeting, we're not making.
Yeah,
Right.
Read it, get your comments for Ralph, beat them up.
yeah, by all means, keep me up, I'm good.
Well, and trying to make even more productive, that if anybody has any comments, if I have any comments, which I'm sure I will, I would just reply to the entire group so everyone sees the comments that I'm making, so everyone's in the loop along the whole way.
right. And just remember, don't start discussion.
No debate.
See other people's comments, cool.
Yeah.
Don't start discussing back and forth, because now you have an illegal meeting.
Right.
Okay. Well, I've got very little else to add to that, so.
So where do we leave Steve coming out? Is that later for it? What do you want? Peter? Or are you playing like bubble wrap over there?
I'm reading sections or rereading sections of the report.
What do you want to do what do you want to do with Steve? You want to wait and hold off on him, or do you want to have him there?
That was my preference, because I think we can regurgitate his report without his help, but,
I think if he has to make an appearance at the Board of Finance or something like that, then perhaps we could save that.
Yeah,
I think
maybe
that's
when we're
should
at that
be.
key moment, we're actually requesting the funding we want to have a lot of credibility with that
I think we're capable of
entity.
regurgitating what's already there in the proper fashion with everybody.
Yeah,
Although I guess, let's say we were having a public hearing, would that be on Zoom access?
I think we could arrange it because there's no legal requirement for a public hearing for this topic. We're doing the public hearing as a forum. We might not actually call it a public hearing only because that creates legal requirements. I think we might call it a forum or an information session or whatever.
And if we did, could he be available remotely?
I think we could
I don't
do
know
it
if
with
we need him,
technology.
but
You could ask,
wouldn't mind it.
you could ask them to be part of during the time we're having the hearing, the public, like, is that public?
Do you think that there?
I don't think we would technically call it a public
Informational
hearing.
session?
Yeah,
informational meeting.
yeah.
Make it, yes, he will be available for that.
Because if you call it a public hearing, you have to do certain advertising
Yeah, right.
requirements and all that, which we don't need. We just need the public to be there.
Right.
Do we think that we'll have participation?
That's a good
I
point.
don't wanna like waste his
We
visit.
have to
you know what I mean?
advertise somehow, don't we?
Yeah, I think we move it upstairs to the larger space so we can set up more chairs. I think because we can use, we have an owl up there,
What about
so
the
we'll have it
library?
online.
Not the library.
I'd rather the library, it doesn't have an owl.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we could see, we have the one that we use, we have the one that we take to the old town hall, but just records into the laptop. I couldn't find out if we could get in through the Wi-Fi at the library and actually have it online.
That's a much nicer setting.
It's easier navigation at the library than is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And you're out of parking very quickly, you don't have to walk and come up the stairs.
yeah,
There, the library is just nice, and easy to get in and out.
Well, I mean, we do have more parking spaces here than the library.
Yeah, but if the people are parking out back.
Well, yeah, they could park on the end but yeah, I mean.
I would submit that we can probably do it in this room.
I hope not.
That's
I would hope other
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah.
well, that's what I was thinking, Ralph, I was like.
A lot of it depends on how well and where it gets placed on the town's website too.
Yes, well, we should next week, the new town Facebook page should be up.
I think it should be just,
Well, I can put it on our web.
it should just be blasted out wherever you possibly can.
Yeah.
Can we have some rolling stock like in the library parking lot?
Meeting one.
Park the trucks out there with all the lights flashing.
Absolutely.
I'll put it on the front lawn. There's gonna have people there. I'm good with it.
And pizza inside.
Oh, geez, are you paying? Mike said you paid for that.
First selectman has a discretionary budget.
If you put
You can tell me where it is.
We have complete faith in you, Mike.
I haven't seen that yet.
Free breakfast and lunch and dinner? Oh my lord, there'll be all hundreds of people.
If we do a public hearing, I think between the two fire departments, we can do refreshments. I think the two fire departments, I can safely say we would supply.
muster up some.
Sure we can.
Well, I know pizza didn't draw a lot of people out for the school building committee information
Well.
meetings,
Consider it a source.
but.
There.
Was that slam on the pizza place?
Look,
No,
recording
no.
I don't think it was the pizza.
Not the pizza. That's pizza.
It was getting
It was
people
great.
out of their homes. That's the challenge.
Right. I know.
You have to think of. Alternative dates too, because if it's weather dependent, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think we wanna try to do something in January, because once you hit February and March,
Yep.
every night's tied up with meetings.
Yes.
So we wanna be looking at towards the end of January, I think. Cause if it can get to the Board of Selectmen for, what do we say, January 5th?
Yeah.
If you get to the Board of Selectmen for January 5th, that gives time for it to get advertised, whipped up.
How many people do you have signed up or that are subscribed to the town Facebook page? You know?
The former town Facebook page got blown up, so we have 0 right now.
Oh,
We have to start over.
how many did you have?
I don't know. It got blown up before I got in office.
So we don't know.
It was tied to Pete Tanaka's email when it was originally created. And they could not, IT couldn't get a way to work with Meta to get it switched. And then all of a sudden it just disappeared, gone. I don't know, it's probably some AI thing, thought there was a security breach because they were trying to mess with it. Poof, gone.
Is there, did we talk about?
So we're starting
The
over.
thought of doing a postcard mailing or no? Was that, I thought somebody brought that up.
That's pretty
I
cost
think we
effective.
talked about it, like.
A small postcard is pretty costly.
Yeah.
A big
But like
one,
$1,700, I
would the
think.
time be like now, or would it be like when there's like the decision time?
I think
Oh,
both.
well,
Yeah, I think decision time
Right,
would be better. Because you send it now, when decisions down here, they're gonna forget.
right.
But you might have to do both, because you want people to hear about this now. But if they don't hear about it when it comes to the decision time, they're like, well, why haven't I heard about this? And then they're,
yeah.
well, that's why I asked how people are subscribed to the.
Yeah.
How many people are, you don't probably don't know this either. How
Well,
many
I
people are
mean,
signed
there's a
up for
lot of
this?
reasons that we should probably, that townwide, there's a lot of reasons we probably should be getting a postcard out, because we're gonna try to get Everbridge the rest of the way up and running very soon. We're trying to get, people paying attention to things like creation of the school building committee, so we get public input, all these things. So I wonder if there's, with the new Facebook coming online, hopefully, I wonder if there is sort of an ideal time. Maybe right at the first of the year to get a postcard out that drives people to a whole bunch of these things. Hey, here's all the stuff upcoming.
Like share
If
the
you wanna be getting email alerts, go to the new website, make sure you're signed up for the email alerts. If you wanna be on Everbridge, this is how you sign up for Everbridge.
And save the date for this.
Save the date for the presentation of the fire facility study, whatever.
Yeah.
Cause you can fit a lot of one or two liners on the small postcard.
Sure.
And then you hopefully also now have got, by getting it in every mailbox, you've gotten people to those other electronic formats. Go to the new Facebook page, sign up for email alerts, sign up for Everbridge.
And that captures the people that don't have Facebook, don't go on the website, that huge subset of people, I feel like.
Did you guys lose all the people that are subscribed to town notices too?
Well, supposedly it all transferred over.
How many,
But
how many people?
we have already heard from people that it hasn't transferred over.
How many people are signed up for the town, the general notices? There,
I-
a rough idea.
I don't know.
I get most of them. I'm
Yeah.
subscribed. I get most of them. And it was it was uninterrupted with the transition. So,
Is there a,
Stop.
It was interrupted for her run.
when does that Wellington Word thing come out?
That's
Quarterly?
done by like recreation and some other people, and I don't think one has come out recently. Because of all the changes in rec and new direction,
Dormant right now?
I think.
so I know they sent out a thing asking for people to put stuff in a couple of months ago. But
So they're trying to get it back going again.
If there was a January edition, we should be in it,
Yeah.
for the people that read that. Possibly the patch, Ralph.
I can get something on patch for you.
It'd be nice to see something local.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be nice.
I find myself commenting sometimes.
Well,
About them posting something from like Norwalk on the Stafford thing, and I say, not local, stop posting.
they have to fill the page somehow.
And they have to, right, and they have to get clicks, so it says. Mother arrested in assault at school, so you click on it. And then it says, click here for more information, and then you still don't know what town it's in, you gotta click again. And eventually, like the third or fourth click, you find out it's like Norwalk.
I have noticed that, they have these catchy, you think, Wellington patch,
Right,
5 people
right.
arrested. Oh,
Yeah.
cool, click.
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
yeah, it's hard for
right,
us.
death and dismemberment, click
Yeah,
here.
yeah, lead the leads, man.
They're the one place I did not hear from the other day.
What's that?
The patch, the one place I did not hear from.
It was,
Well, they were busy in Norwalk.
it was very brief,
Oh, I'm sure.
very brief. No details at all.
I mean, anything that I guess we can
What,
do. to-
Wellington Fire
make people
responded.
aware.
That's all they said. They didn't mention Colin, they didn't mention anybody
They
else.
probably just saw it on your
Yeah,
like
probably.
Facebook
Yeah,
feed or whatever, and just took that information.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think they had a picture too.
Which they probably got off the.
Yeah. Picture courtesy of Wellington Fire.
Of what?
I don't think it said that on the bottom.
No.
Village show the fire.
Tim's a little barbecue.
Huh.
Okay,
So not to put any undue pressure on you fine fellow, but when do you think we're gonna see a draft?
Tomorrow?
8 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Listen, first of all, it's not gonna be at 8, it'll be at 5.
You do it at night.
yeah, I do.
Yeah,
My
well,
best
fresh in
way
your
to-
mind, tonight's the best.
Yeah, we don't be sleeping at 8 o'clock.
Between 1 AM and 5 AM. At 8 AM, he's probably asleep.
Yeah, sometimes,
In all seriousness, when do you think you'll be able to have some first to chew on?
by the end of the weekend,
By the end of what?
the weekend,
The week, awesome. It's Thursday. Wow.
and the weekend.
Oh, and the end. Oh, gotcha. That's good.
Tyler's been a
Sunday
manager.
midnight, it says.
Tyler's been a manager for a long time, and he's learned to hear what part he wants to hear. Oh, you said by the end of the week, cool, thanks.
I didn't say that. Yeah, you did.
That's what I heard.
They're gonna have that done by Friday, so Monday. Got it.
I look forward to seeing what you produce as a draft.
All right, well, I got a note here. Draft to the committee by Sunday, okay,
Sunday or Sunday?
Okay,
Sunday goes right up till.
Goes right up to 11:59.
I'm gonna check my email at midnight.
Yeah, I know you're
gonna hear it. You're a liar. All right, good.
Anything else we can beat around tonight?
I think so.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Just,
can you update us, Ralph, on that grant?
Yeah,
And the disposition of the
grant specific.
Station 13 property and Jeff Gordon and all that?
Ralph, do you want me to? I think I have more details, or do you wanna take a shot at it?
I'll take a shot at what I
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Okay, I have a copy of the grant application. I don't have a copy of the grant language.
We don't have the award, we don't have the language from the award yet.
Yes.
Just the apple, just the apple.
Oh, it was just a phone call, you got it type of thing? Okay. Understood.
Email, phone call, or the combination.
Now, the spreadsheet that Demono had produced. This was based on the addition numbers that Station 13 had.
Right.
Total project cost of 3.25 million. Of that, 487,000 came from the grant. And 2.76 million comes from taxpayers.
Where did? Pardon me if I'm going backwards, I don't mean,
No, sorry.
where did the 3.2 come from?
That was the.
Way back.
That was the estimate we had
From the.
from the engineers to
Okay.
that was our solid quote we had from.
For these plans.
For the plans, understood, okay, gotcha, all right,
Well, yeah.
excellent.
Those plans went with the grant application.
I know about the, yeah, okay, perfect.
I don't think. Well, it's Wellington Fire Department number 1 all the way down.
Yes.
That's Horner, so. And how that. Factors into everything that this committee's doing remains to be determined, I think, and like, if you wanna tackle that. one.
No, I think that is the crux of the thing, at which I think we've all been anxious about is the speed we've moved at is slower than we wanted to move. And for whatever reason, I'm not saying blame, but we're not where we wanted to be able to start bringing proposals or ideas into the budget process. You know, and if all the recommendations lined up to pursue this particular option we're talking about, the grant and all that. Then we would need to be presenting to CIP, Board of Finance and all that, the $3.2 million project.
Right.
If this was the thing going forward.
But,
And I'm not saying we're ruling it out either, I'm just saying we're not where we wanna be.
no. No, we really don't have a building to add on to.
So, you know. I'm just not understanding this well, maybe Ralph, for clarity's sake, I thought that there was like $500,000 sitting out there. That got lost in Doge, it's now reappeared.
That's our understanding, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So is that like,
Degaged.
is that cash in hand or is it tied to more grant application activity?
It's
No.
tied to,
Neither.
neither, it's tied to the.
The $3.2 million project was identified originally.
Yes, so that project or a replacement that fits the
The need.
need of the grant, that stays within the parameters of the grant. Would need to be paid for by the townspeople at the 2.7. And then that 480, whatever, would come in from the government for that part.
So it's conceivable at some point when we have an identifiable project and a cost, this could kind of.
If it fits the requirements of that grant was somewhat specific relating to emergency operations centers.
Well,
And it was specific to that address at the time.
yeah, so just for
Could our
clarity.
consultant help us with that?
In the application, that was obviously was accepted, it's somewhat specific. The funds will be used to renovate and expand the town's fire station. Beyond the significant deficiencies of the current building related to code requirements, necessary training, sleeping space, emergency operations. The building was found to contain mold. Based on the way the building was constructed, it was determined that complete renovation, including expansion, was the most appropriate way to make the building safe, address code requirements, in addition to the operation needs of the department. I was originally, and I haven't been intimately involved in this, with that, it was for an EOC, but that's very clear that it's for a fire station.
Right.
It's not the EOC anymore.
Yes, I think there at least was in the enabling legislation. There were some requirements that the fire station has in EOC.
Or will continue to be an EOC, agreed.
Yes, there is an EOC component
Yes.
to the grant.
Yep, right, yep, Yep.
Yes,
okay.
but the grant is applicable to more than just the EOC.
Are the prints that are in here, is that still valid from the FD's perspective? Is that?
We haven't discussed it since,
Well, yeah, those are, yeah.
that's in addition to the
That was,
building that's there
that
now.
was from Dennis,
Yeah.
okay, so that's in addition to the building, so we still have to address the existing facility.
Correct.
From lack of a better phrase, garage perspective.
Yep.
This is the admin, wait from the apparatus bay floor, this is the bay floor that is there now, that we're still gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
We either bulldoze it or we've got it, okay, I understand. Peter, do you wanna see this?
No, it's okay. We're trying to get a broad understanding of it.
If it helps, we're still trying to figure that out too.
I would like to think that it could somehow follow wherever we're going.
But does it have an expiration date though?
That's the,
What is what is that?
We don't know.
We don't know.
oh,
Don't know that either.
I'd hate to leave 500 grand on the table.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, and we don't have much grant expertise in our town office building, I don't.
So are you 100% confident that D'Amato, that Mike hasn't gotten any more information?
he's been good about,
He's been really
From
good
a
as soon as he.
Expiration date of the use of funds?
He's been really good at telling us what.
Yeah.
He's got.
and I'm crossing paths with him like twice a week right now, so I'm sure he would also in that moment give me updates.
Who made the notification to him?
One of the legislative offices,
His officer,
Courtney?
I think it was Jeff. Or,
That was federal.
it was federal, it was,
So I think. Murphy.
I think,
I have to.
I thought it was Chris Murphy's
I think it
office.
might be Murphy's office.
So maybe we can prod some of his aides to figure out what the stipulations are on this, what the length of time we have to do it. And how.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like
they were
product
supposed to
review.
work on language, but apparently I've heard a rumor that people in Washington have been busy with other things. And they apparently have not gotten to this
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Alright,
I guess.
we're approaching another shutdown.
Well, and we're also depending on when that was intended to be funded. We're using up the time that
Right,
grant might have been funded.
So may have to go through another reallocation if it just dies out. It's a possibility.
Right.
Unless there's just a way to secure it now.
I agree. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Would Mike work on that? Tomorrow?
I wish there was a good way to secure it.
Is the last information, well, you've got it right in front of you.
I have it in front of me, so this was a couple of weeks ago, the 13th, so a month ago. Was that it was. 525,000 was allocated. And that, all we know right now, we don't have, he's still waiting for more for it to come back.
can we reach back out and
Yeah,
I can talk to Mike or reach out to him tomorrow.
We can phone calls, emails to Murphy's office or wherever it came from.
Like ask him to just not say, oh, I'm not sure, can, like, we ask him to
Yeah.
ask someone, I don't know.
Yeah, and I meet with him on Monday, so between you reaching out and seeing him on Monday, we'll see, if we get any more information. Again, I don't think because of the stuff that's going on in Washington, I'm guessing. The remaining criteria that still had to be written before, cause it got pulled back in when the previous government shut down.
Yeah, it was like,
And a lot of people didn't even realize it got pulled in. So possibly no one is working on the language of what the new rules are, because now we're approaching the next deadline for shutdown and people are battling over larger scale things than under $525,000. Even though it means a lot to us.
The overall point is somebody needs to bird dog the hell out of this to make sure it doesn't get lost in the cracks. If it's available,
Yep.
let's get it somehow, right, get it secure.
Some of the Badger are state people, like Badger Courtney, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like you're in a good position to do that now.
Right.
Among other stuff that you have to do.
It's a short list. No problem.
Okay. What was the other thing? Oh, Peter, you had.
Oh, the property,
Oh, yes, that,
oh, I got.
Rob, you got that all doped out, don't you?
That was improved slightly from Mike's original sketch. As far as I know, it's in the DOT's hands now. isn't it?
Yeah, we're waiting, they had to have a appraiser come out and appraise the property.
Did they do it? You know?
Well, I don't know, they were gonna let us know when they were done. They said it was gonna be a little bit.
Who's the contact at DOT?
Uh,
You have somebody? I don't even know the name. You have somebody?
yeah,
I'll call them.
I just
Well,
want
now.
no, Dennis McDonald,
And just reach out to them, hey, we're eagerly awaiting the
build
transfer.
up something else.
Do we have to buy that or they give it to us?
$1 for something, right? The-
Well, that's what we don't know, they
Dale,
had the
they
appraisal
did.
done, and it's a small section that.
That's the spot where our flagpoles are already on.
Like a mass
And the-
media sale, but
That during the legislative session, they said that they use all the time, and then miraculously for 3 weeks, there was a DOT truck parked in that parking lot every day.
The game.
what?
It was a game, wanted to vote on something else that they said no, and just
That's great.
it was a game. Yeah, it's a pawn.
This is another time that our local reps are usually very helpful.
And they wait-
When you finally get to the point where the state says, oh, we need $42,000 for that.
Yeah.
That's when we dial back in the local
Yeah.
and they say,
And
come on,
everything-
you're crazy.
Yeah.
I
Jeff's
forgot
gone,
about the sign too. The sign must be right. Dead nuts in the middle of that.
It is.
The property.
Jeff Gordon was really instrumental of making sure that this happened, so,
Hell, call him or call Gordon to follow up on it.
yeah, and I will,
You know, hey, go, chop chop.
he checks in quite often, so.
Yeah. Any update on the building itself and where we are?
I
have
can
none.
tell you where it's at right now. We don't, we fixed the drainage around the building. So there doesn't appear to be getting a lot of water in, other than, the normal spots that it leaks in the front. Through the bay stuff.
Or it rolls into the base.
Under the
Yeah,
bay,
yeah, yeah.
because of the creek.
Towards it.
Doors are, or the pay, yeah, when they build it, it's too high. But, other than that, just the smell is. Walk 10 feet in front of that building, you smell it.
It's juicy.
Can't get rid of it. But all the water's off, the furnace is off, everything's been bled out,
What's it in insulation between the roof and the?
yeah.
Yeah, it's pinched between the skin and the frame.
Skins.
Yeah.
So the skin's gotta come off it. It's gotta go back down to the gutter.
That insulation sandwich between the frame and
Yeah,
the roof.
so it's gotta go back down to the metal girder.
It's gotta be re-roofed.
And you strip it down to the frame and
Yeah, strip it down.
replat it. If you want to preserve what's there, I think that's probably the most sensible.
Yeah, cause it's pretty easy to clean the steel. Once you've got everything out of there, you can clean the steel frame.
Yeah.
Put it back together, rebuild it right.
Fix the rusted spots.
Well, we're not there yet, but I had a meeting the other day with a, the company is called Gordian, and they are basically like a purchasing consortium similar to Sourcewell. Except they provide more service than just a list of approved vendors. And they are specifically contracted. I forget which, like, one of the state agencies, no, it's, I think it's CROG. CROG specifically contracts Gordian, if I have the layout right. And they have vetted and pulled in and competitively bidded all sorts of services. And created like their own sort of Sourcewell that's, for Connecticut-based businesses through CROG, and we have access because we're a CROG town. They have a lot of services that are already, because they're already vetted and they're on these, buying consortiums. Those things, the towns then don't have to competitively rebid for those services.
That's like these state contracts. Already been
And
for it.
it's like a DAS state contract, right?
What do they do?
And it's specifically geared towards Connecticut towns, so they're Connecticut contractors, they have Connecticut licensing and all that stuff.
What do they do? Construction?
Construction, design,
Oh.
stuff like that, so I just had a meeting with them the other day. They're sending me all the information about their services, and so that's another potential if we see a path to move on.
Yep.
And we can approach whatever board for funding, they will even send someone out to scope the job for you.
That eliminates the entire bid process, which is very lengthy because it's already been done for you.
If they'll send someone out and they will scope the job, if it's within the services they have access to, they will essentially, because they're contracted to CROG, they will essentially help you write the scope. And then put it out to bid.
So there's a clearinghouse for.
Not, I should say, put it out to bid, put it out put it out to a contractor to say.
So they're a clearinghouse, they have access to contracts and the plumbers and electricians, and you can just go through them to get, oh.
Yes, I don't know all the details yet of
That
everything,
certainly
but.
speeds up processes though.
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
and
good.
the fact that they offer a little bit of service in it, like the scoping of the project and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's good.
They're doing a bunch of, matter of fact, he was telling me in the meeting about a project they've going on in Killingly right now. That was done exactly this way. Killingly had an issue. They called them, said, here's our issue. They went out, looked at the issue, said, these are the services you need to resolve this thing. They called a couple of the companies that are in the program that do it. Those companies came out, wrote a proposal. This is what work we think will accomplish that scope.
They handle all that side of it.
They managed all of that traffic.
Wow.
What's the name of it?
Gordian, Gordian, I think.
That certainly would save an awful lot of.
Right. Yeah, cause they do that, it's almost like it's not quite project management necessarily, but they do,
Pretty darn close.
it's getting you kickstarted, basically.
I'm sure you could contract it for project management too, if you wanted to, and really provide that service.
They,
Professional services or just.
I asked that question because I was thinking also about the school with owners, project managers. And I feel like they said they don't go, maybe only on schools they don't do that. But
That's promising.
No, there's too many ties to DAS with the school.
yeah, it may just be too complicated, although they do provide architectural and engineering services to build the school. I think they don't do OPM services, but they do construction, design, engineering, all that. Just not owner's project management, and I'm not sure what the difference is for them, why, but. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Maybe there's a conflict.
there's like 42 new things, it's coming to me each day. Just trying to try to keep track of them all.
The challenge, I'm sure, Mike.
It's.
Okay. Do we beat this to that?
Deal
now.
now.
Did you, was that it? I'm good, that's what you have?
Okay,
Ah,
all right, I think we pretty much wrapped up all business, no correspondence.
Are you
Present to speak? Anyone?
I can't figure out how to raise my hand here, guys. Do you mind? Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Jay.
All right, beautiful. Jim Marshall, Fisher Hill Road. Just a couple of, I guess, comments from CIP following our meeting last night. We did given there hasn't been a comprehensive set of submissions from the fire departments yet, or even a resubmission of any funding request for a larger building project renewed from this committee or otherwise. And given that we talked about trying to coordinate having, as we set up our calendar and our interview schedule for the coming months, trying to get the departments and probably representation, whoever that becomes from this committee, for an early discussion early on in our calendar, so that we can flesh out where things are standing with this report or have a better understanding of what options are on the table, given a relative lack of information, for then, so that we can have a good conversation, figure out how we get information that can assist everybody in getting some sort of a comprehensive or better, more comprehensive plan across the table for a more detailed interview later on in the season. So I just wanted to put that on your radar, that we'll probably be reaching out, trying to set something up early in January, for an initial discussion, given that this report isn't really out yet. Also, thank you for the sensitivity to schedule, because while budget season may be really deep into it, for February, March, and April for many, we'll be done by the end of February, or at least we're trying to be this year. So any delay in that report, it would be good to have some information, some guidance, some idea of a schedule. I think I've said this before, but any information that we can get, and we rely on the data provided by you guys in order to formulate a plan that hopefully helps move things forward. So to that end, anything you can do for projections on long-term timing would be great. Separately, I know this report is projected to give a variety of options, including equipment and fleet needs and what that long-term replacement, that is also something that'll be very critical to the overall understanding how this fits into the budget picture. And to that end, the purpose of what CIP providing funding for this committee a couple of years ago was to get that comprehensive financial picture, was to have, empower some funds to get to a point so we're not piecemealing things because a new grant comes in. Then we're not shotgunning a large construction project that may not be in the best interest of the overall town because we have some imminent need. So I'd encourage you guys that public input and public making a decision without a pretty detailed, comprehensive financial picture of what any of these options are going to be, both from an upfront cost, but also long-term budgetary impact. CIP is going to have a hard time, I suspect, providing input or assuming direction without that financial data. I imagine the community is probably going to be the same way. So initial discussions are great, but advancing that even further to get to the point where you're developing cost projections for each of these options that are in consideration, I think that's kind of a critical next step. And when it's going to be hard to get the needle moving forward without it, in any budget season, with where we're at currently. So I'm just begging you guys for information at this point, I guess is what I'm what I'm ultimately trying to say, because the committee's going to need it to really have a shot at figuring out how these fit into the overall picture, given the magnitude of the need we have submitted before us. So thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Thanks for your efforts, guys.
Jim, I have a question, Jim. You still on?
Yeah.
You mentioned at the onset of when we first started speaking that you didn't receive, that the committee did not receive any CIP submissions from either fire department. Is that accurate?
So I did get an email from Tom Snyder following our meeting last night. He did request, nothing came through the portal. He did request that he's a little behind and that to consider any existing submissions valid until such time as they can be discussed. So we're going to do that. I mean, we're happy to work with you guys, but yeah, we got the only submissions we have were something in the out years from Alex. I believe you may have submitted it.
Yep, yes, they're the out years, year 2
Yep.
with year.
And then
Because we didn't-
service,
because
one of
there's
the
no
service
committee, we
trucks.
didn't want the station again.
Sorry, I tried to talk over you and I didn't mean to, Alex. Say that again.
we didn't think it was prudent to do the station on CIP again, because we don't really know, we don't think there should be the fire department's legal building permit in place. So,
Yeah, so we'll have to discuss, as a larger group, how best to capture this, given an unknown need, because it is something we need to project or plan for to some degree. And equipment replacement needs are also, deep into that. But yeah, I think the only thing that was submitted was service
213.
213, which is not, a major fire apparatus. It's just a truck, right? A pickup.
Yeah.
That and the something in the out years were the only two items actually submitted this year. So.
Okay.
Just, we understand it's busy time of season, but we'll assume and I'll project that forward, all the existing requests, as we continue to evaluate this. But I think we really need to have an understanding of what the impact of fleets may be, so that we can project the overall level of order of magnitude need, this year, next year, the following year, but also really broad strokes how a major station project or projects fits into the overall calendar. And that's going to change by what the financial impact may be. It could be impacted by what the scale of the financial impact may be for any of your options. So, there's a lot of moving parts. I don't want to preempt you guys, but I think again, the earlier we can get information, the better off we're going to be, so that we can get something that incorporates this somewhat effectively to the Board of Selectmen in time for them to see how it impacts their budget. So, and that'll be hopefully by early March at the latest. So just be aware of it, and thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Let's see, anyone else?
That's another facet of that we're gonna have to discuss is the apparatus evaluation and
Yes.
replacement and refurbishment plan.
I could bring nothing here about. Yep. Okay. That's it for present to speak. Next meeting, January 8th. Possibly a special meeting before then.
Yep.
And I'll entertain that last motion of the night.
Motion to adjourn.
Anybody?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, now how do I shut this down?
Go more.
Where the hell is?
Go up.
In the
Left.
black band on the
Down,
bottom.
up. Okay, toss it
I
over.
can't see it.
Toss it over.
I can't see it. Oh.
I think if you just push stop, I mean, end,
There we go. And we.
or is that? Hold on.
I will stop recording.
Recording.
Oh, leave meeting.
That,
Okay.
What am I getting reminded now?
yes.